So he is a Jew. He doesn't believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is running the
He believes
world.
in God.
He believes in God.
Okay, so when you say you believe in God, what is your source for that?
I think there was a creator.
No, you can't just say I think.
Well, I don't know. I'm a human being.
So you're
I'm not perfect. I don't have that knowledge. Otherwise, I would be the creator
But are you
myself.
certain there is God? Or you're just speculating there is God? Which one is it?
When I look around at the trees and nature and the beauty of the universe,
Yeah.
I personally can say, yeah, I'm pretty certain there is a creator.
Okay, so when you say pretty certain,
But it doesn't mean
Then
that
it
I
is
have
just-
to live 4,000 years ago.
no, you don't have to live 4,000 years ago.
That is 1,400 years ago.
Okay, tell me one thing.
My book is 4,000 years.
That's fine. Tell me one, when you say your book, you mean the Jewish book?
The Torah is 4,000 years old.
Alright, so when you
How
say...
can a man today live in the past 4,000 years ago?
No, you don't have to live in the past. In order, you know many laws that are in the statutory laws here in Britain, they were written in 1600s, but they still follow today.
Yeah, but
It doesn't mean you have to live in the 1600s.
Okay, but hang on a second. But they get changed. They get changed for the times. These books of ours, yours and mine,
Yeah.
we're not allowed to change.
Okay,
them.
I'll tell you what. This is the Quran. I'm not going to judge the Torah because that is your book. But the Quran, I don't know what part of it you have read. That is in
Nothing.
Okay, so you cannot judge a book that you haven't read, yeah? Can you? So maybe the first step would
I'm
be.
just telling you that it's written by a human being and it might not be perfect.
No. When you say might not be, when you haven't read it, that is just a speculation. So why don't you read it first and then you tell me what you object to?
Okay, so
Would that be a good idea?
Yeah, very good idea.
All right.
So
Here's a
let me-
copy for you.
Thank you very much, and I'll keep it and I will try and read it. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go on.
In my Torah, they talk about stoning people to death if they do certain things.
Yeah.
But come on, man. You can't do that anymore. You can't do that.
Okay, I'll tell
You
you
have
what.
a legal system
You know what
that
you-
matches today, not
Okay, I'll
4,000
tell you
years
what.
ago.
Do you know what they do today? Have you heard of abortion and how they actually go through that process of aborting babies? Do you know how they do it? It's worse than stoning, I tell you. They rip open these babies piece by piece and until they die. And that is today in the 21st century.
Where's that?
Everywhere, legalized abortion.
That's bullshit.
You
Why
haven't,
would they do that?
You haven't heard of abortion, seriously?
Yeah, but it's not. I don't know it from that point of view.
Well, maybe that's the reason I'm telling you that there are many things which are legalized today which wasn't legal 4,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago or 1,400 years ago. But today it's considered to be nice and accepted.
So do you think that
and
should be
acknowledged.
changed? Do you think
Of course it should be.
So then why should certain things in this book not be changed?
Because this book, there's a difference. I'll tell you what.
This is the law.
No.
This is the law.
Hold on, no. When you
That's
say
the law. They can change that law, but they can't change
no,
this law. Why?
there's difference. One is law of man, the other is law of God.
You see, that's where I've got a problem.
Why?
Because this was written by a man.
No, when you say written, of
Or
course it was written.
prophesied by a man.
No, of course it was written by man. But who revealed it to man?
Well, I don't know. You know
The
what?
law- you know the law-
I can get a. I can
You know the 10 Commandments of Moses? Do you think Moses just wrote them by himself in the book? It was given to him by God. And that's the reason. And if you read the 10 Commandments, look, if you read the 10 Commandments, they're more or less universal, except for a few things like the
so
Sabbath.
you and I
so
can sit down tomorrow and we could write 10 good commandments.
on. You can, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, so
In
that's,
fact,
but
I'll tell you
but
what,
that's maybe what Moses did.
God doesn't object to you doing good things. Even,
no,
even
but
if
what
it
I'm
is not
saying
in the Quran or not in the Torah, if it is a good thing, for example, but then the good thing is subjective, isn't it? What might be good for you might be bad for someone else. What might be bad for someone else might be good for you.
Okay, that's a very good point.
Okay, now the point is...
That is a very good point.
The more
But
important
as long
point...
as I don't hurt you and you don't hurt me,
No.
you can do what you want and I can do what I want.
Hold on. That is not easy in practice. It's easier to say,
No, but if you
not
want to
in
be a
practice.
godly man or a man of the Creator, that's what we should be
No,
practicing.
but the first thing you need to define is who actually justifies what is good and what is bad.
You and I can sit down and do that.
No, but we might disagree.
Okay, well,
Like for example, you might consider abortion correct, all right, and to be practiced, and I might consider it to be completely wrong.
Okay, but I'm not allowed to kill you for that.
Oh, wait a minute, you're already
No.
killing a baby for that.
Listen, if you take...
Someone's getting hurt, but then it's perfectly legal and all right in the community, in the society, in the 21st century. You want to bring us in the from 4,000 years.
Excuse me.
From 4,000 years, you want to bring us to the 21st century. But then the 21st century, I see a lot of barbaric practices which are legal today. To me,
But
they
it
are
doesn't make it
barbaric.
right.
Well, according to the law, it is right. That's why it's legal.
Well, it doesn't necessarily make them right. That's what I'm saying to you. What's in here and what's in my book doesn't necessarily mean it's right. And we have to be open-minded and we have to move forward and work out like, okay, well, that's what he said that time. I don't know if it applies today. Like, really?
By the way, they did sit down and
Does
they
it
come...
really?
Hold on. They did sit down and that is how they got the law for aborting babies. It wasn't the law before. It became a law today.
Listen, I'm not saying that's
right.
Recently. I'm not saying it's right. Maybe they need to re-sit down and again change the law. Like you should maybe change this law or change my law.
The point I'm asking you is this. Who decides what is justified as good and what is bad?
What works for me and what works for you.
No. Good and bad are subjective.
We negotiate it.
No, good and bad are subjective.
Yes, but
what do you mean negotiate? Not everyone is going to agree with you. And it's
never,
not. And by the way, it's not just the two of us. We are talking about an entire world. We are talking about an entire societies, entire communities. There are things which
but
might
it doesn't
be.
mean you just because we can't agree on something, we take this as the gospel.
There are certain things in South Africa which might be applicable in South Africa, but they might not be accepted elsewhere. Yes, like for a few years ago, apartheid was completely legal there. Yes.
Yes.
And later on, it became illegal in the same country.
No, I'm not
in the same country.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you, who decides what is legal and what is not?
The people did in South Africa. I'm a South African. I was born there.
Yeah, I know
that. So in other words, I've witnessed people that were on two opposite sides of the planet sit down and work it out. And look what
You know what happened? You know what happened? A lot of people died in that process. It didn't just go from apartheid to peace. I'm sorry. You completely ignored all the bits in the middle.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that after apartheid, people worked it out.
The people, they were basically forced.
But
they were forced into rejecting it.
They both wanted to work it out, and then they worked it out.
I don't think the black people had a lot of say in that.
Now, after Mandela,
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about back then.
No, that was bad.
But it was legal back then. Apartheid was legal, and everyone in your community accepted it.
This is legal.
Yeah, but tell me, what's your objection? I'm asking you, what's your objection to that?
Do they stone people in here?
Who in the Quran?
If you do a certain crime, can you get stoned?
Okay,
in my book you can. Okay, and it's bullshit.
First thing you
should not be stoned to death.
First thing you need to realize is that the death penalty, whether it is stoning to death, or whether it is the electric chair, or whether it is hanging by the noose, or whether it is shooting in the by guns, these are all death penalties. And different
and they need to be negotiated.
Hold on. Different countries have different rules and regulations. For example, in America, if you
the most civilized country in the world today,
if you commit treason, you get the electric chair. Now, who's going to tell them? Basically, killing someone in a practice where they basically pump I don't know how many thousands of megawatts into that person's body until he fries to death or his brain fries to death.
Is that right?
Yes. Well, it looks very horrendous to me.
Okay, so what if they changed it?
No. When you say changed it, you see what I'm saying?
What if they said, you know what?
You need to come to a term. You either come to a term where you completely stop death penalties, like in Britain. I think there isn't any death penalty anymore here. Where I think it's only
in Australia there's no death penalty.
It's only like life sentence, and even that life sentence can vary from like 15 to 20 years, and then they can still get out even earlier. Yes, and those people who have been given the life sentence, they go and recommit those crimes again. Where does it stop? How do you stop these crimes, which are repeat crimes? For example, pedophilia, murders, drug addiction, all these things.
Let me answer your question.
There are lots of repeat offenders.
There's certain times that a crime fits a punishment, and then there's certain times that a crime doesn't fit a punishment. It doesn't mean that it fits at this time. It must be for everything.
And who decides that?
You and me, as two people in the 21st century.
You think you and me are the only people in the 21st century?
No, so let's
you're talking about millions. Okay, you're talking about 7 billion people out there. Do you think they'll all come to an agreement?
Let's discuss what's going to go in this bottle, water or orange juice.
No, but
you say water.
But you're asking me and you only. I'm talking about 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world today.
Yeah,
Do you think they will all come to an agreement like you and me?
I think what?
I don't think so.
Well, I can tell you this: as we get to, I don't want to say anyone's wrong and I'm right.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking like me.
What do you mean like you?
As we get further down.
What do you mean like you?
Like.
Are you saying you're the pinnacle of justice in this world?
No. That's not true. What I'm saying to you, when you start thinking that I can love you and you and you, and that this book doesn't have to be the ultimate decision.
So what is your standard of morality, for example? What is your standard, if not the book? What is your standard for morality?
What is morality?
You don't know what's morality?
No.
It's basically like human beings, like for example, not to lie,
code of practice.
Yeah,
code of practice. Yeah, not to lie, not to cheat, not to hurt somebody
else. Not to hurt someone else. Yeah. Who decides these moral laws? If not the books,
you and
who
me.
Decide? But I'm telling you, we both are subjective.
Do this and I take your glasses,
yes.
Right? That's morally wrong.
It is.
You say to me, hang on, bring my glasses. Okay, I won't take your glasses.
Okay. So you decided.
We both decided.
Hold on. You decided it's morally wrong. Another person comes along and says it's perfectly all right. Hashim told me something I didn't like, so it's perfectly legitimate for me to steal his glasses.
No,
Is he right?
No, he's wrong.
You see what I mean? He used his justification.
No,
you use yours.
No.
And we're only talking about 3 people here. What about millions?
Of people.
What about billions? You see, this is what I'm telling you. It's very easier said than
Laws have
done.
to be changed. I agree with you. Oh, mate, listen, I understand. You can't get 3 people to agree, let alone 100.
Do you really think all this 21st century, really advanced countries like America and all, going all the way to Iraq and bombing them to basically dark ages just because somebody told them there's weapons of mass destruction there? Do you think that's right?
That's
okay,
bullshit.
now you tell me who's going to bring those people who did a wrong, who were responsible for killing millions, yes, and thousands, who's going to bring them to justice?
The legal system.
It doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't. Hang on. It's not working. It's not.
Whose legal system?
We have to work out a system that does work. That's my point.
Friend,
but if we
whose
stuck
legal
in the
system?
old way, we're never going to work it
No,
out.
but hold on. Whose legal system
I
are you
don't
talking
disagree
about?
with you. I don't disagree. But what I'm saying is we have to move forward. We can't be stuck back in those days.
Yeah, but you see, it's very easier said than done.
I agree, it's not easy. It's not easy.
If it was that easy, then those people who completely annihilated 2 cities in World War II, yes, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, yes, they dropped, the first country to drop atomic bombs, nuclear bomb, basically are Americans. And they are the most advanced country today. They are the superpower today. You tell me which country in the world is going to stop them?
No one can stop them, yeah.
Well, everybody now, Russia.
Well, they were
China.
But the thing is,
Exactly. Everybody now,
Russia and China are the biggest partners in trade.
No, but everybody.
How are they going to stop them?
So everybody's trying not to use nuclear weapons.
Look,
the law has changed.
What's your name?
Sean.
Okay, Sean. You know there are many things that you say I like, but when it comes to practicality, they are not practical. I'll tell you why.
But you're close to them.
No, because morality, the laws that you talk about, the different laws in the world that we have today, they are very subjective. If you do not have some authority dictating these laws, you will always be fighting with each other.
I agree with you.
Because everyone is going to say follow my law,
What's your
and
name?
you say follow Hashim.
Hashim, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
But those laws need to change.
Which laws?
Say there's a law that you're not allowed to do something, right? Today.
Yeah.
But in 5 years' time, it becomes irrelevant. In 5 years' time, that's not the case.
No, we are talking
anymore.
about the laws which are there, which affect everyone, which affect all communities. Let's take example, okay? In Saudi Arabia, alcohol is banned. In this country, it's permitted. Whom are you going to basically cite?
Whatever you want.
No, you tell me, based on your understanding of these 2 countries, who do you think is right?
Neither are right and neither are wrong.
No, that's not an answer. That's a
Why?
cop out.
Why?
Because you're legislating. Remember, a legislator cannot just say I don't care.
Why can't I go home and have a whiskey the guy in Saudi Arabia doesn't have a whiskey? He doesn't want a whiskey.
No, the law
I
is...
want a whiskey. He doesn't. What's the problem?
I'll tell you what. The Saudi Arabians, they say no, it's going to be stopped for everyone. In Britain, it says everyone over the age of 18 is permitted to have whatever alcohol. Okay? There might be some limit, I'm sure,
Okay, sure,
but it's not something that is enforced. Now wait a minute. The Saudis have a legitimate reason. They go by the book. In Britain, they do not go by, for example, a religious book. They have a law where it says a secular law.
Every year they change it.
Yeah. However,
Why do they change it?
no, let's not go into that. Based on the secular law, listen. Based on the secular law,
Times change.
no. Based on the secular law, what has changed?
Not all the time.
No, not all the time.
One second.
Not all the time.
What has changed in
But
terms
times
of
change.
alcohol? You tell me.
We're not the same as we were 1400 years ago.
We're more immoral if that's what
When
you're
it's
trying to
driving.
say. I think we
I'm getting
compared from 100 years ago, we are more immoral.
Maybe you're right.
Society,
Let me ask
social
you.
media.
What has changed in terms of alcohol and its effects? Say 4,000 years from today. What has changed?
Probably nothing.
Exactly. Has the law changed?
Yes. There have been law
Yes.
changes.
So
yeah.
before alcohol might be permitted for everyone,
Yeah, now
later
it's-
on the children cannot drink. Later on,
Driving, yeah.
even those who have reached the age of adolescence, they cannot drink. Later on, it became until the age of 18. And now maybe they want to move it as well. Now they want to close pubs at a certain time. Some other countries want to keep the pubs open all night. Yes. Some countries want to sell drugs over the counter. Some countries like Britain completely ban drugs. Not even cannabis is allowed. So that's what I'm telling you. All these countries have different laws. However, they all recognize the reason they have laws restricting these things like alcohol and drugs and any other thing basically that is harmful to your body, and it's only more of a it's more of a pleasure for you rather than giving you any benefit. Because it does harm to your body. Yes? Now you tell me, would you knowingly give poison to your children?
No.
Right? So why would you allow a country to sell poison and get benefit in terms of revenue from
Because
it?
it's not poison that will kill them.
It does.
You see, there's a difference between...
No, hang on a second. I drink whiskey.
No, there's a difference between slow poison and poison which kills you
No, there's
instantly.
nothing wrong with having a whiskey. I drink it on a Friday night. I have 2 whiskeys and that's it.
Has your doctor advised you to drink whiskey?
He's never warned me against it.
If you
never warned me.
Have you asked him?
Yeah.
So you asked him...
In actual fact, there's a belief that if you have a drink a night, it's actually very good for you because it relaxes you.
It's good for what?
Apparently, no, I'm not saying this is the truth.
No, it's good for what?
De-stresses you, relaxes you, makes you maybe feel comfortable.
And how do you think it impacts your liver?
Well, then you mustn't eat McDonald's.
Actually, I don't.
Okay, but I'm just
I hate
saying.
McDonald's.
I'm just saying. But here's the thing. I'm allowed to drink until I'm absolutely plastered, okay? That's my business. As long as I don't make you drink and I don't force you to drink.
You're missing the point completely.
You should be happy for me and I'm happy
Hold
for
on.
you.
Do you know why you're missing the point?
Why?
Because you see, every alcoholic at one point, he said the same thing like you. Look, I can control the drink. I'm a responsible drinker. And I'm only harming, even if I drink more, yes, I'm only harming myself. And that person, after he became an alcoholic, yes, he destroyed his family. He might have killed someone in a car accident. He might have basically ruined his own career. You see the impact of alcohol? Now you see why that book told you not to drink? And why Saudi Arabia has followed that rule not to drink alcohol completely?
It's Hashim, eh?
Yes.
Hashim.
Yeah.
Hashim. Hashim.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what you're saying. My father was an alcoholic, he died. My sister was an alcoholic, and my brother's an alcoholic. I know what you're saying, believe me. But I'm not an
Of
alcoholic.
all the people, you should be saying to stop drinking.
No, but
yes.
I'm not an alcoholic.
If my dad died because of alcohol, or someone in my family died because of alcohol, I'll be the first one propagating against it.
But here's the point. I'm not an alcoholic.
No, I'm not saying you are.
No, but
I'm saying you have first-hand witness.
Just because
the effects.
some people are sick because it's a disease.
No, I'm saying you have first-hand witness the impact of alcohol.
You can't make everybody not have a drink because my family were alcoholics.
You see what you're doing is...
What he's trying to say is
what
it leads up to.
Yeah, what you're saying... What you're saying is you're looking at it... You're looking at it basically...
But you can't inflict what you believe because I can't say to my brother, don't drink.
Why not?
Well, I can say to him. I can say, but I can't stop him.
If your brother is doing something wrong, would you not stop him?
I will try.
Exactly. He's your brother.
I will try.
Would you not wish good for him?
I will try, but because he's...
So what is wrong with a government who wants good for his citizens not to drink? If you want your brother to be saved from the harms of alcohol, why would a government not want the same thing if it loves its citizens?
Yeah.
The only government which would permit it would be the one that does not really care for the citizens, that cares for basically lining his pockets.
But I 100% agree with you.
There you go.
It's all money.
So it comes down to the book which says not to drink for a reason.
But why can't I drink?
Like I just told you, the effects of it. You are the first-hand witness what happened to your to your dad and to your sisters.
But it hasn't happened to me. So
that doesn't mean, trust me, I bet your dad said the same thing at one point.
No, I'm sorry. You can't inflict a certain law on everybody because it doesn't always apply to
Actually,
them.
it's not inflicting, it's saving them from harm.
Well, it depends. You might see it that way. I don't.
If somebody told you that there is a law not to cross the traffic light if it's red, and that is a law, if you cross it, you're going to die.
Definitely not.
Why? That is a law. They're inflicting it on everyone for the same reason, to save you from death.
No.
The only difference here...
Again, you're taking it to an extreme. I've crossed many red lights and never died. Thank God I haven't been hit.
Well, you basically broke the law then. Don't admit it on camera, though.
But you get my point.
Did you understand what I said?
Yes, I did.
Okay, the laws are there for a reason. The laws are there to prevent you from accidents, to prevent you from dying. If those laws were not in place and you kept breaking those
then
laws...
Then it's my problem,
no,
not
it's
your
not
problem.
yours. If you broke the law, you can kill someone else. What do you mean is your problem?
No, if I walk across the road...
No. If you went through the red light, which you said you did, and you killed...
No, I said I've walked across the red light.
No, okay, you mean as jaywalking. All right.
Yeah.
I thought while you're driving.
Yeah, that's my fault. It's my problem.
Yeah, but what if you were driving and you broke the traffic law?
No, you can't.
But it's possible. Many people do break the law.
Yeah, but you can't.
And they're perfectly safe.
So, okay.
Wait.
No, hang on a second. You know what you're saying?
What am I saying?
Nobody must be allowed to drive.
No, I'm not saying that.
You are.
I'm saying the laws are there for a reason.
But people are going to break those laws. Therefore, no.
If they break the law, then they should be arrested.
Nobody's allowed
to drive. That is the whole idea of the law.
Nobody's allowed to drive because some people
hear me
are going to go through a red light. That's what you're saying.
Hear me out. if a person who has a license and who basically says, I'm not going to obey the traffic laws, even though the laws are there. Yes, because I'm perfectly capable of driving through a red light without harming anyone. Will you allow him? Just like you're saying, you're perfectly okay without harming anyone. You can drink alcohol. He uses the same reasoning to break the law.
No, you can't. So what I'm saying is, we don't want to live in a lawless society.
Exactly my point.
But the laws must change.
But you see, the laws
must change.
No, before you get to that,
my book must change.
The laws has to be dictated by someone in a society. Who does that?
The government.
Yeah, and who?
The people in authority.
And you see,
But that law's allowed to change.
But do you think the government always basically has laws which everyone agrees with? And which is actually,
not
which is always in the what do you say, in the interest of the people?
Not always.
So why do you trust the government then?
I hear exactly what you're saying, but you're being.
I'm using your argument actually.
No,
don't realize
no,
that.
no,
I'm using your arguments against you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're doing a very good job. But what you're missing is that there's been thousands of laws that keep us safe, and then they change.
I have no problems with laws keeping us safe.
Hang on, let me
and I
ask you this
include
question.
those including keeping you safe from harm to your body, which includes drugs, alcohol, and any other narcotics.
You know what? At the end of the day, if you drink and you see you have a drinking problem, you need to stop.
Hey, you're doing it again.
But you're
looking at it. You're looking.
Tell me
Hold
not
on.
to have a drink.
You're looking at it as an individual level. I'm looking at it as a level of the whole society.
But you can't inflict the whole
he's
thing.
making a look. If I may, he's making a valid point because even Allah says, "I will not help you change if you don't change from yourself, from inside. It has to be an internal thing for it to be an external thing."
I can't stop my
You see one thing.
Even if alcohol was banned, you'd still drink.
Who is struggling?
My brother.
Because there will be even more of a temptation.
Because
Or he will smoke drugs.
Do you know why?
Because he's that kind of person.
Do you know why he's become like that? Because it is the government which allowed it in the first place.
You can't blame.
Who had this addiction? You tell me. Who had it? Do you really think he would be in such a state if he was in Saudi Arabia? Do you think he would be? If the government does not promote alcohol, does not legalize it, does not get revenue
I don't
from
want to
it.
talk about my family on camera here, but let me explain this to you.
Go on.
It's okay, you can run it. Maybe he wouldn't have been, if he was living in Saudi Arabia, maybe he wouldn't have been an alcoholic, maybe he would have been depressed, maybe,
Why?
You don't know what's going to happen.
Are you saying
not all well?
Are you
So
saying?
can't blame,
hold on.
you can't
Are you saying that your
blame
depression
people.
cannot be cured except by alcohol? Seriously?
No, what I'm saying is,
Because that's what it sounds like.
no, depression is a very big cause.
It's serious. I agree. It's serious, but it's not. I don't think it's linked to alcohol.
So he might have done something else.
No, I'm not saying depression is linked to alcohol.
No, I'm
Right?
saying
it might have as a side effect,
it's
but
an
I'm not
escape.
saying because
It's an escape.
yes, it's an escape, but a
you
bad
can't,
one.
you can't make that rule apply to everybody because my
But you
brother
see,
has a problem.
instead of looking for a solution to depression, you're basically harming your body more. Not only depression is more of a mental issue, but then you're also causing harm to your liver now. So now you got a problem up here, and you got another problem. You're creating another problem down here. Instead of you trying to find a solution for up here, why create another problem? All you have to do is shift it from one place to another.
So 20 million.
And that is only temporary.
20 million.
The alcohol runs out what in 24 hours? I'm not a drinker, so I wouldn't know.
So how many people live in London?
Millions.
It's about 10, yeah?
Okay, so
more
10
than
million.
that, more than that.
So let's say there's 500,000 people that have a drinking problem.
Say again?
Let's assume there's 500,000 people that have a drinking problem in London. Does that mean now the government must make a blanket ban against alcohol?
No, I'm not saying blanket ban. Ban overnight. I'm saying just like just
Yes, educate, etc. But you can't necessarily
but
stop.
do you really think there's no education? The effects of alcohol? There's loads of in the age of information, saying that I'm ignorant about the impact of alcohol would not be really true. You know what I mean? Because this is something that everyone should know or know already.
Alcohol is like the
We can
worst
stand
drug,
and
worst
debate
in life.
individual things. All I'm saying is
It's not
this.
individual. This is something impacting all our society.
My point of view.
It's
My
really
opinion
bad,
is
but it's just they're making too much money.
things have to change.
Multi-billion,
Give me one thing that has
trillion
changed
pound
in the
empire.
I have never read the Quran.